And we're now getting some more breaking news. Night of unrest in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka. Sheikh Hasina gets death term. Bangladesh in complete chaos. Awami League protests. Street war erupts in Dhaka. These are the visuals from Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, where there was complete unrest and chaos in its capital. Armed forces patrol streets of Dhaka. Awami League versus rivals clash erupts on the streets of Bangladesh's capital. Key highways have been blocked in Dhaka. So that's the latest update that is coming in after Sheikh Hasina got death sentence. Now there's complete chaos and the Awami League is protesting. A street war also erupted. It was a night of complete unrest in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, yesterday. So Sheikh Hasina has got death term and Bangladesh is now in complete chaos. Awami League is protesting the death sentence. Street war also erupted on the streets of Bangladesh. Armed forces are patrolling the streets of Dhaka, and it is Awami League workers versus the rivals. The clash has now erupted. Key highways, in fact, is what we are learning, have been blocked in Dhaka. And my colleague Indrajit Kundu is now joining us for more details on this. Indrajit, we're showing our viewers the visuals from Dhaka where there's complete unrest. There is clashes on the streets of Dhaka. Give us more details on the situation in Dhaka.
Well, Anjali, just a small correction. Clashes did take place last night between security forces and students who were protesting in Dhaka. But these are not Awami League supporters. These are students who were participating in the students' movement last year, which led to the downfall of the Sheikh Hasina regime. Now, ever since the International Crimes Tribunal announced its verdict yesterday afternoon, there was jubilation amongst those students who had actually taken part in the students' revolt. And they were marching towards Dhanmondi 32, which is the historic residence of the father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Now, you would recall and remember that during last year's, revolt, that building had been completely razed. It was broken. There were several attempts made to break that building, demolish that building. It was set on fire. So whatever remains of that historic building, students went there once again in several, phases, and they wanted to raze that building completely. And their demand was that a playing ground, a park be created at that location and a public toilet be also erected there, because they say they don't want to leave any remnants, any memory of Sheikh Hasina or her family or her ancestors in Bangladesh right now in Dhaka. So obviously there were security personnel, there were army, there were border guards, Bangladesh, who were present there trying to guard that location. And during that phase, there were clashes that erupted between the student protesters and security forces. The students were angry as to why they were not being given access and why the security agencies were trying to protect the ancestral property of somebody who is a fugitive, somebody who has now been given death sentence by the International Crimes Tribunal in Bangladesh. So that resulted in this entire chaos in Dhanmondi area from about 9 evening till about 10 o'clock at night. These clashes, sporadic clashes, continued in that area. Finally, security forces brought the situation under control and they were able to completely disperse and clear that area, and the area was opened up for normal traffic.
All right, Indrajit, do stay with us. So these are the visuals from Dhaka where my colleague Indrajit mentioned that this was the clash between the student protesters and the security forces after Sheikh Hasina's death sentence. These are the kind of protests and the clashes that erupted in Dhaka late night yesterday after Sheikh Hasina's death sentence. You can see these clashes between the student protesters protesting against Sheikh Hasina and the security forces clashing with them. So there's complete unrest and chaos in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, over Sheikh Hasina's death sentence. Indrajit, my colleague, continues to stay with us. Indrajit, Bangladesh has also warned India over extradition of Sheikh Hasina, saying that if Sheikh Hasina is not extradited, it will be an act of enmity. How do you see these diplomatic developments?
Well, Asif Nazrul, who is the kind of law minister right now, he is the law advisor to the Muhammad Yunus interim government. So he was speaking to the local media there, and he said that Bangladesh would once again formally approach the Indian government for extradition of Sheikh Hasina. So Sheikh Hasina's status now completely changes. She had come to India last year during that July and August uprising in Bangladesh, and she has sought, shelter here in India. But now she has been indicted by a court in her own country, and she has been also handed over death sentence. In that backdrop, the equation changes completely. Bangladesh has reiterated their demand that India extradite Sheikh Hasina, and they have also stated, Asif Nazrul, in fact, gone on record to say that India continues to harbor and shelter Sheikh Hasina and the remaining Awami League leaders, like the former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kabal, who also spoke to us yesterday. He has also been given death penalty, and he was the second in rang. All of them, if they continue to stay in India, that would be considered to be an act of an animosity against Bangladesh. So Bangladesh leadership, Mohammad Yunus leadership, hardening their stance vis-a-vis Sheikh Hasina here. And, it is going to play out very, very differently. India, of course, gave out a statement. The Ministry of External Affairs did say that they are cautiously monitoring the situation in Bangladesh, and they would, try to do everything in order to normalize relationship with Bangladesh. But India-Bangladesh relationships will all depend. Sheikh Hasina's stay in India, she has, in a sense, become the fulcrum of the relationship between India and Bangladesh, and that remains a huge, huge bone of contention.
Absolutely. Indrajit, do stay with us.